Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode number 146 of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and thank you for spending some time with me. As always, I appreciate you guys. Man, we have had an action-packed month. Like, so much is happening this month. I probably am doing way too much, but it's been pretty fun. We just did the 5-day Go Dry challenge, and it was fantastic. I went live every day in the pop-up Facebook group. I was so nervous because going live is nerve-wracking, and I had a blast. I love you guys for showing up for yourself, for doing the 5-day challenge and really having fun with it. I mean, there was some great engagement in there. It was so fun. And the cool thing too is the 5 days of strategies that we did were different, right? It wasn't the typical things that you see all over the internet, like to stop drinking, quit drinking, change your life, whatever thing you're searching for. It just wasn't the standard typical things, right? This is a fresh new perspective. This is real life action steps. And I'm so proud of you guys for showing up and taking action for your life. That's how you create change, is through action. If you want things to be different, you have to do things differently. And also, the Sober Society is open right now for new members to join. And it hasn't been open since, I think, August. It's been on a wait list. And that's not because I'm being a jerk, being on a wait list. It's because we have a really special community and we are very connected, and I want to keep it that way. So I'm pretty protective, right? And it's open a few times a year for new people to join. And I want people who are serious about their recovery and serious about making changes, because our membership is all about action. You know, every month has a theme. We have action steps and motivational tools that work around that theme. And we have 3 online recovery meetings every week, a private community for members only so we can connect and support each other, have accountability, share ideas and coping skills. And it's pretty amazing. So that's why it kind of stays on a wait list, because I want to always maintain the safe community that it is. And it's just a really special place, and we want it to always stay that way. So it hasn't been open since August. It is open right now. But if you're listening to this today or within a couple of days of this episode coming out, it is only open for a few more days. So get your happy little buns over there and jump in. It's super inexpensive too. And it's one of the best things you can do for your recovery, to have support and guidance and community. And those are the top 3 things that people want when they're getting sober, is support, guidance, and community. And we have it all in one place with a lot of fun and a lot of connection. But it does close again on January 23rd. So if you're listening after the 23rd, you'll have to be on the wait for next time. And you can find that on myrecoverytoolbox.com on the Sober Society membership page. myrecoverytoolbox.com, click on Sober Society membership from the menu, and it will give you all the information to join and all the perks and blah, blah, blah. The other really cool thing we did in the 5-day challenge is I gave away a ton of prizes. So again, I went live every single day, and I gave away some copies of my Powerless and Powerful Recovery Journal. I gave away some Addiction Unlimited coffee mugs. And I even gave away a couple of free coaching sessions with me. And I don't do a lot of individual sessions anymore because I don't have a lot of time. And in my 6-week signature coaching program, we do individual sessions every week. And that's really the best way to maximize your time and investment. Individual sessions are more challenging because you're not going to get great life change from one session, right? That's like saying I go to one AA meeting or one smart recovery meeting and I think my life is going to be all different in one meeting, right? It just doesn't work that way. This is really any life change you're making is an ongoing process. It requires ongoing action and ongoing perspective shift and ongoing behavior change. None of those things happen quickly, right? So you really do need more time. But I gave away 2 coaching sessions with me, and I'm super excited to get to connect with those winners and do a session with them because you guys know I love when I get to really connect with you and put a face with the name, right? When you show up to webinars or when you're in our online recovery meetings or in the 6-week coaching program, right? Like it's so fun for me to actually get to meet you guys and get to know you and who you are and to help, right? And our next 6-week program is starting in a couple of weeks too. If you've been thinking about that, you can message me, hello@angelapugh.com, or go over to that page and sign up for a consultation because those spots fill up really fast. And I think I already have about 3 people waiting for the next one. So there are very limited spots available for that. Anyway, our 5-day challenge was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these. That was my first one. And it was so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to doing some more of those because I get to meet more of you also. So let's dive into this topic today. This is something I wanted to talk about because I see it come up over and over and over again. It's something that obviously many people struggle with. And it's an interesting topic for me because I have my own weird kind of relationship with this. And this is about forgiving yourself. That's what I want to talk about today, is really getting to the core of some of our personal drama and getting to a place where you can really let some of that stuff go. And everything I'm going to talk about too will also relate to being able to forgive other people. Because when we have resentment and bitterness, if those are things that you see in yourself, that typically means you're holding on to some stuff that you need to forgive people for or forgive yourself for, right? And I do a whole thing about feelings are feedback because as addicted people, we get really scared of our feelings, right? Like we have a feeling of any sort, good or bad. We have a feeling and we kind of lose our minds. It's like, make it stop, make it go away, kill it now. And that's what we did with alcohol, right? Is numb all those feelings. But feelings are not scary. They're not bad. Feelings really are feedback. You have a feeling that gives you an indicator of where you need to do some work. It's just that simple. We don't need to freak out about our feelings. They're just feedback. They're telling you what you need to work on. And if you recognize resentment, anger, bitterness in yourself, again, usually a great indicator that you need to work on some forgiveness with yourself and with others. So as we go through these things, I want you to really be thinking about that in where that forgiveness is, and not only in this conversation to forgive yourself, but you can use all these same things to really start to forgive other people. And this is a tough one, you guys, because we get really wrapped up, and you've heard me talk about this on a million episodes. We get really wrapped up in what people do to us, right? We're always in this sort of self-righteous, this is injustice to me. And we completely forget that there's another person involved in the equation. There's another side. And instead of being so caught up and angry about how we've been wronged or mistreated, it will always serve you well to stop and think about how maybe you've done some wrong to the other person, how you could have done something differently, behaved differently, communicated better, not raised your voice, whatever the thing is, right? There's always two sides to every story, but we get so caught up in wanting everybody to get on our side and co-sign what we say. And if I'm mad at my friend, I'm going to call you and tell you all the bad things that friend did. And I want you to get mad at them too. And I mean, we're not 14, like that's really not the best approach to life. Like I have to accept responsibility for my part and understand I am not perfect. I can be a real jerk. And sometimes I don't even mind being a jerk. Sometimes it's unwarranted. And I am always 100% of the time, I am always willing to make amends and clean up my mess. And that's a whole other topic, as you know, because we got episodes about that too. I've got a whole blog article about how to say I'm sorry. So let's dig into this a little bit. One of the first things I want to say, and this goes back to what I was just talking about feelings, is it's okay to feel guilty, right? It's okay to feel not great about something we did. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't make us a terrible person. It's just a feeling. It's giving you some feedback. Every feeling serves a purpose, right? And we cannot grow and evolve and become better humans without making some mistakes. Because truly that's where we learn, is in those mistakes that we make and having those feelings and using them as feedback. That's how we learn to be better and do things differently. Guilt lets you know that the action you took, your actions and behaviors, do not align with your values and beliefs. And it lets you know there's some damage to repair, right? Because of whatever we did, there's a little bit of damage to repair there. But don't get guilt and shame confused either. Guilt serves a purpose. Guilt is a feeling that gives me some feedback and lets me know I need to take some action. Shame is not. Shame is more defeating and makes you feel like you're just under this pile of crap with no way out. And that's not helpful because it doesn't give you an indicator how to heal. So don't get trapped there. Okay. Guilt is okay. We can figure guilt out. The best thing you can do is own it. Just own it, you guys. Don't get caught up in this sort of denial because you don't want to say you're wrong. I swear it is amazing to me how many of these conversations I'm in, especially with couples, because I do a lot of communication coaching with couples. And people get so hung up on this. Like they don't want to apologize or make amends because they're so caught up in just being right. And I want him or her to hear me and I want them to tell me I'm right and believe what I'm saying because I want to be right. It's all BS. Like get over yourself. None of us are that important. You know what I'm saying? So just own it. And owning it really takes a lot of the power out of something. If you want to dig your heels in just to be rebellious and be in denial that you play a part in something or that you did something quote unquote wrong, denial just digs the hole deeper. And that's exactly what you don't want to do. Denial also is a method of self-protection. It's how we protect ourselves from negative emotions or feeling bad about something that we did. That doesn't make it true. Just because I say I didn't do something wrong doesn't mean I didn't do something wrong, right? It just means I'm in denial. We can all own our part and make amends for whatever our part is. Making amends and owning it, admitting that you misstepped or made a mistake, right? That is just saying I could have handled it better. It's not saying what I said was wrong. It's just saying I could have handled it better, right? And for me, oftentimes that's in my delivery because I can be, I'm definitely very direct. And I can be a little bit harsh without even realizing it because I'll just be caught up in my thoughts and I'll spit out a few things. And later I'll go, I kind of sounded like a jerk when I said that. And maybe it wasn't my intent, but I have to be mindful of that. And that often is what I have to make amends for. And coming back and like, listen, I wish my delivery would have been better on that. Not super proud of how I handled it or the words I used. Whatever the case may be, maybe you raise your voice and that's what you're making amends for. Like I could have stayed calm. I could have remained more calm in that conversation. And I apologize for getting worked up or for getting loud or for talking over you or interrupting you. Whatever the thing is, it's not saying you don't believe what you said or that you're wrong. It's just saying, listen, I could have handled that better. Not proud of how I handled it, whatever the case may be. Making amends is one of the most important things you can do without the expectation that the other person make amends back. This is not about the other person. Again, we get so caught up in what we want them to do, what we want them to think, and we're trying to force them to agree with us and force them to say we're right and force. Get over it. It's not about the other person. This is about you doing the right thing for you so you can feel good about yourself as a human being. Remember, alcoholism needs a couple of things from you. It needs you to be alone, and it needs you to be isolated, and it needs you to feel like crap about yourself. If you are not willing to be quiet for a minute, to consider the other person in the equation, to clean up your mess by making amends for your part, taking responsibility for your part, then you are not going to feel good about yourself. Because you know it's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is go, dude, I'm sorry. I really handled that crappy, not super proud of myself, and I'm going to really make an effort to do it differently in the future. I love you. I want us both to win the argument. I want us to be on the same page, and I'm going to work on handling things differently. That's what you do so you feel good about yourself. If you want to dig in and be rebellious and try to bully your person or bully your life or bully a situation, it is not going to get you far. Another part of this forgiveness equation that I like to talk about is imagine what that forgiveness feels like. Think about a time that someone has offered you forgiveness, like really given you true forgiveness for something you've done that wasn't great. And imagine all the feelings you have in that moment. Imagine the relief you feel, the gratitude you feel, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for giving me another chance. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for understanding. Imagine all of that stuff. And that's what you want to give to another person. You want to give those feelings to another person because you're kind and you're a good human. So of course, the most important thing for me, especially, I want people around me to feel valued. If you and I are sharing space, I want you to absolutely know that's important to me. You are important to me. Your well-being is important to me. I want you to feel that. That's what forgiveness does. We've all had that moment when somebody forgave us. We know those feelings. We know how good it is. So imagine stepping into this place of forgiveness, taking responsibility for your own actions and drama and chaos, making amends when necessary, and imagine how freaking phenomenal that feels for the other person involved. That's what you want to give somebody. That's what makes you feel good about yourself and gives you a little more armor against that alcoholism constantly trying to creep in. You have to feel good about yourself. You have to feel good about your actions to kill that alcoholism dragon or monster. Somebody said in the Facebook group, it's a troll in their head. It's a troll. I love that. Okay. Another thing you can do, I'm really big about journaling and writing things out, pen to paper, not computer, pen to paper is a very therapeutic process. You really get to purge. You get to be very honest with your feelings, especially if you know you're going to shred it or burn it, throw it away. You get really honest with your pen and paper. That's why it's so therapeutic, right? And you can take your time and you just purge all that stuff. And it's amazing. So if you're having trouble forgiving yourself for things you've done, write it out. Write yourself an apology. Make amends to yourself. Something I think about a lot, certainly when I think back on my drinking life, is I don't have a ton of guilt about things I did. Not because I'm a sociopath, but because I just really separate my two beings, right? I've gotten to be two entirely different humans in one lifetime. And the drunk version of me had its own set of rules. And those are not things I would ever do. Those are not decisions I would ever make. Those are not behaviors I would follow through on in my sober mind. So for me, as long as I don't put alcohol in my body, I will never do those things. I don't act like that. I don't do the dumb things. I'm not mean. I'm not angry, right? All that stuff stays with the drunk version of me. So it's real easy for me to separate myself now from all of that. Now, I'm not proud of that stuff, right? I'm not proud. What I'm not proud of is that I was that broken. That's what I think about. And that's where I think this writing yourself an apology can be so huge, because I don't think back on the crazy stuff I did and being a liar and being deceitful, and I did some things I'm really not proud of. I just am not going to beat myself up for it, because as long as I don't have alcohol in my body, I will not do those things. That is not who I am. Alcohol brings out this dark, icky side of me, but that's not who I am as long as I'm sober. So I can separate those things. The thing that makes me sad, where I want to forgive myself, I'm so sad that I was so broken that I thought alcohol was my only solution, and that I lived like that, and I treated myself like that, and I allowed other people to treat me poorly. That makes me sad, not angry at myself, not filled with guilt, but sad that I was that broken and really dedicated to making myself unbroken. That's what the journey of recovery is. It's unbreaking yourself, right? Like, I didn't almost drink myself to death because shit was going well, it was obviously not going well, or that wouldn't have been my solution, right? I was very broken, and my self-esteem was so broken because I didn't do things to care for myself. I didn't make good choices. I didn't even know how to make good choices. And not only did I treat myself poorly, I let other people treat me poorly. So that's where I had to write myself an apology. And that's how I separate guilt, right? I just want to leave it behind with the drunk version of me and make sure I am not the drunk version of me anymore. 150% of my energy and effort went into making sure I did not get drunk again, because as long as I'm not drunk, I am not that person. Next, I want to talk about learning from it. Again, feelings are feedback. When we do things, we misstep, we misspeak, we get selfish or careless or whatever the thing is. This is a chance to just learn from that mistake. When you do something, you don't feel great about it, that's feedback that in the future, you need to do it differently. So think about that. Change how you respond to things or how you react or what you do. Even from little things, if you're late and you get to work late again and your boss has to have a conversation with you about being late again, that's a pretty great indicator that you need to get your happy little buns out of the house earlier. Right? And whether that means that you got to go to bed earlier the night before, or you got to get up earlier in the morning, or you got to stop screwing around in the morning, you can't stop for coffee on your way, whatever adjustment you need to make, you have to learn from that mistake and do it differently. If you want things to be different, you have to do it differently. So learn from these mistakes. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and take the opportunity to learn from it. Make it a constructive situation instead of a situation that you want to punish yourself for. We get caught in this punishing ourselves. And listen, I still get caught in it too. This isn't something like everything we talk about. It's not something you're going to do perfectly and you're going to learn in 10 minutes and do it perfectly for the rest of your life. It's practice. That's why it's called practice. We have to do it over and over again. We have to screw it up. I'll be really fantastic about certain things for a long time. I'll do great. And then all of a sudden I'll fall off and I'll not do it very well. And I have to learn from that. I have to recognize it and go, that didn't feel good. I need to make a shift. Okay, what am I doing? Where did I fall off? Where did I get off track? How can I get back on track? Action, action, action. And be mindful too that all of these feelings we have physical symptoms. Every feeling, anxiety, guilt, happiness, every feeling has a physical symptom. Whether it is your muscles tense, right? Obviously, when you're anxious, you'll get tense, which is going to cause aches. You can get headaches. You can have digestive issues. You can have focus and concentration problems. All of these things are symptoms of feelings. This is how they come out. If you do not heal the feelings, you will have physical issues. They say mind, body, spirit, right? We hear that phrase all the time, but we don't take a second to connect what it really means. It means it's all connected. Your mind and your body, your spirit are connected. So whatever's going on in your head is going to affect you physically and spiritually. Whatever feelings you're having, negativity is going to affect your mind, is going to affect your body. It's all tied together. Mind, body, spirit. That's what it means. And be patient with yourself, okay? And this is where journaling can come in really handy also, because you can really start taking note of what you're doing and how you're doing it and what results you're getting from it, right? Like it's easy for me to go, okay, I'm a little off track on these issues. I'm not doing this great. What's really going on? And I can think back to a time period when I was doing better, and I can go back to my journal and go, okay, what was I doing? In June, I felt fantastic and I was doing this really great. So what was I doing in June? And I can go back and look and go, oh crap, in June, I was meditating every single morning. No wonder I felt great. So this is where keeping track of what you're doing and journaling can be super helpful. And that helps create some of that patience too. You have to be patient, not only with yourself, but with the people around you. Have to be patient. Give yourself some grace. Again, you are not going to do everything perfectly. We're learning. We're learning a new way to live and a new way to approach life and a new way to interact with people. And that's a lot. So don't have expectations that you're going to do it perfectly. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the people around you because they're learning too. As your behavior changes and you do things differently, it changes for them too. And they now have to do things differently. So they're learning too. And we have to help one another and support one another in that process instead of getting mad and feeling like they're not being supportive. And I can't believe they did that. And I can't believe they're drinking around me. And I can't believe they don't support me going to meetings 82 times a day. And don't get caught up in that stuff. Be patient, be kind, and communicate. We have to lead people through this journey with us. That is our responsibility. You can't sit back and be quiet and not speak up and then be mad at people when they don't do what you want them to do. If you don't tell them what you need and what you want and how you feel, they have no idea how to be there for you. Okay? It's our responsibility. You are your responsibility to speak up for yourself, to draw boundaries for yourself, to tell people what you need. You are your responsibility. And give other people some space, right? We've done a million episodes about this too. Your hula hoop. You can't control other people. All you have control of is what fits inside your hula hoop. And my hula hoop is full with me and Henry. That's all I got. Those are the only things I can control. Those are the only things I can change. Oh, I can't change him, but I can change me, right? Don't try to force other people to change. Even when you offer them forgiveness, they still are allowed to have their own process and go through things at their own pace. They're allowed to have their own opinions. I want you to just stay focused on yours, your part. You do your part. And make sure that you're doing things in a manner that you feel good about and that you can be proud of. Okay? Own your stuff. Own it. I effed up. I'm so sorry. I didn't do that well. I wish I would have done that better. I wish I would have handled that better. I wish I would have listened more. Own your stuff. Make amends to yourself and to others. Again, with owning your stuff. Make that amends, you guys. It's okay. It is so strong to make amends. And again, imagine what that feels like for the other person. Imagine all the goodness that brings up. And that's how you want the people you love to feel. So give that to them with some forgiveness. Write yourself an apology. Journal about whatever your situation is to forgive yourself. And learn from that mistake. Learn from whatever you did that was uncomfortable. Use it as a learning experience. It's just feedback. And be patient with yourself. Now, the last thing I want to say in this is the absolute truth of the whole situation, you guys. We do not have a time machine. I cannot go back in time and change the choices I made or the actions I took. I can't change it. And that's where I really want you to sit with forgiving yourself. There is nothing you can do about the past. What you can do is be really committed to who you're going to be in the future. Be really committed to how you need to shift your behavior and how you need to shift your thought processes to make sure you don't make those same mistakes again. You can't change the past. There's no way to do it. So there's also no reason to be stuck there. Put your time and energy and focus into who you want to become now and moving forward, because that's what you have control over. There's nothing we can do about the past. So let's be right here, right now, and let's make sure we are taking action and doing things to be different, to be more proud of ourselves, to know who you want to be, and make sure you're becoming that person. And all the people around you will see that, and they'll be so grateful, and they'll be so loving. And if they're not, that's their problem. Leave them alone too. Let people have their space. Everybody is perfectly allowed to be wherever they are in their own journey. Nobody is required to be where you want them to be. Nobody is required to behave how you want them to and how you think is appropriate and how it most serves you. Nobody is required to. There's no laws. You have to focus on yourself and being who you want to be. Let the past go. Forgive yourself. Understand we are broken. We did things from a broken state of mind, and now we're fixing that state of mind. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not alone in this. And there is not a single piece of this that is unfixable. So let's put our energy there. Okay. I love you guys. That was a lot of information. I hope you loved it. And if you thought this was good and helpful, I will post this as a blog post in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know when I do that too, because I know I'm exactly like you guys. When I'm listening to podcasts, I'm always like, oh, dang it, I want to be able to take notes, but I'm driving. So I usually post these as blog posts so you can have all that information, and I'll let you know when I do that. Again, Sober Society is open. If you are wanting to join that, you've got till January 23rd to join Sober Society. And our next 6-week coaching program is coming up. If you're interested in that, jump on myrecoverytoolbox.com and sign up for a consultation, and you and I can talk about it and figure out if it's a good fit for you. I will link all of that stuff in the show notes. Thank you again to all of you that showed up for the 5-day Go Dry Challenge. Seriously, so much fun. And I can't wait to do another one. I'm going to look at doing another one maybe in April. And of course, I'll keep you posted on that as it gets closer. Okay. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.